It's Friday, and that means it's 7:02 Unplugged.
Yes, I love Fridays. Did I ever tell you that? And I love Fridays also because today, as usual, we do have the 702 Unplugged. And in studio, we have the Guitar Wizards. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
And you know what? So I'm low-key jealous because I wish I could play the guitar. It's one of those things that it just feels like it's so, do you know what I mean? It's almost so sexy to just be able to like strum at the strings and, you know.
It's quite interesting that you mention that because a lot of people now start carrying empty guitar cases just to look cool on the airport.
Oh, really? I'm actually going to try that.
People like guitar. I don't know why. It's amazing.
Definitely. So let's talk, if you can introduce yourselves and how it is that you actually got into music as a whole.
Yeah. Well, so my name is Marcin Patrzałek. Pretty tough name because I'm from Poland. It's just Marcin. So I'm 18 now and I started playing when I was 10, so 8 years ago. With me, I started playing with classical guitar and then I sort of started to diverge and do way more genres. Started experimenting and doing really weird stuff with the guitar that you'll hear, I think, very soon. So what happened was that I took part in one of the biggest TV talent shows in my country and I managed to win it, which was a huge surprise to me and a huge shock. So I got very motivated and very determined and I started to create arrangements and these compositions that would be percussive and very new on the guitar. And they got 80 million views online. So that doubled the citizens of my country, which is sort of mental to think about.
Look at the shade of Poland. It's like, that's double.
Well, so the amount of views was absolutely insane. And there started to be like proposals coming from around the world. I started to travel around. Yeah. I took part in Italy's Got Talent very recently in November and also won that. So I'm still like sort of shaken from that whole experience. Yeah. And well, now I'm here because of the internet, right? One of the videos got very viral.
Yes.
And the organizers of our wonderful tour, they just got me here to play for you guys.
And I'm sure your accent has been getting you a lot of attention as you travel around and you play the guitar. I'm 18.
Yeah.
You know? So let's cross over to CH2. So you guys have been in the industry for 18 years, right?
Yeah, well, I started the band. It's my brainchild and I'm the founder of CH2. And the basic idea was to say two classical or Spanish guitars together. So you have this beautiful rhythm, Spanish Latin orientated rhythm with melody. And the idea is to showcase what two nylon string guitars can do. Yes, and we've been in the industry for a long time. We're seen as veterans by now. You know, and we've developed immensely as CH2 as a sound. Yes. Going from folk Spanish right through to now we do flamenco pop as well.
Yeah. I actually, when I was listening to the music, I first I thought this really, I could hear the Spanish influence in it. It was quite intense.
Yeah, it's quite strong, the Spanish influence. And the reason for that as well is classically trained, but started accompanying Spanish dancers on stage to get those rhythms and the flamenco type beats going. And we find that it's a very exotic style, the Spanish flamenco, that people enjoy. It's very universal as well.
So how did you guys meet up with Marcin? How did that connection happen?
It's actually funny because myself, CH2 was performing on stage at a festival. Yes. A couple of years ago. And a big artist in our country actually came to me and he said, man, you guys are like wizards on the guitar. Yeah. And that stuck to my mind, where the phrase, you know. And then Colin, the PR and sort of, you know, the guy that put this whole thing together in terms of Guitar Wizards, Godfather they are. He basically approached me and said, well, you know, he wants to put this thing together of the greatest guitar playing, you know, on stage. And then I mentioned this story to him and I said, why not call it Guitar Wizard? Because names popped up like Plectrum or Arpeggio. I said, it's too far away from people to understand. The guy on the street must understand what the show is about. Simple, in your face, it's Guitar Wizards because it's like wizardry on the guitar. And that's where the whole concept started.
So I don't know about you guys, but I'm about ready to hear some wizardry on the guitar. Are we ready to play a little bit of something?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, let Marcin showcase what he does. Sure. It's quite
so
exciting.
I'll play my own arrangement of Toxicity for you guys, of System of a Down. Everything you're going to hear is coming from one guitar at the same time. That's very, very important.
Okay. You can give us a call 011-883-0702. We have Guitar Wizards in the studio. And Marcin is from Poland. He's joining CH2 and he's about to play something. And I can testify to the fact that there is only one guitar. There's only one. So I need to try and
Thank you so
understand,
much.
what technique is that?
That's a very broad question.
Yeah.
No, it's very experimental. You know what they call it. Guitarists they may say like percussive fingerstyle. Because what I do is like you get the melody, right? The bass, the vocals, and then the drums. So when you put it together, right, what happens is, right. So it's like putting a whole band into one instrument. You know, that's the idea. And I was experimenting for a long time. You know, I had no teachers, so it was very raw and organic. And that sort of style just came out of, you know, my experiments, and also from others guitarists, like influences and sort of, let's say, experiments. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to learn how to play the guitar before, but that looks like a lot of work. I'd rather watch you guys play.
See, what happens sometimes is that we find it after concerts, people they're either inspired or they want to burn the guitar.
That's what
So either they want to go out and practice, or they're like, no, that's fine, I'll go do something else.
Yeah. Now, just speaking with regards to CH2 in particular, you guys have been around for 18 years within South Africa. What has it been like in the South African music industry? Because that's quite a long time. You know, what has the response been in general? I know that you guys have won awards. You've entered an album into the Grammys. I think you're 11 albums in. So what's the journey been like?
Well, it's interesting because when it comes to the journey of CH2, it started with, you know, like I said, more folk and classical. And as it developed into a more pop type feel, it became interesting because people have never seen anything like, same with Marcin, they don't see this often. So it's very mesmerizing for them to watch. Instrumental music has got no language boundaries. So important to understand that we can obviously, speak the language to anyone that enjoys guitar music. So we've won a couple of Salmas and Gumas and all the other awards, which is great. But the obvious thing is to try and reach as many people in the world as possible. Instrumental is great for that. And, on the latest album, we're very privileged. We've actually got a guitarist that joins us from Los Angeles on the latest album that is one of the most coveted session guitarists in the world. And Justin Bieber, he's played for Celine Dion, Josh Groban, and Aretha Franklin, etc. So very excited because that opens the doors towards overseas as well. So the journey here has been amazing. But as instrumentalists, we try and go everywhere. But we'll never leave South Africa. CH2 will always be in South Africa. Me as the founder of CH2, my family is here, everything is here. But we are very excited about the prospects of things happening overseas. And
what are some of the interesting places that you guys have been able to travel where you've been surprised at the response to the music?
Well, that's amazing because it's the smaller cities or the smaller dorpies, as they say in South Africa. That's quite interesting, in terms of the response. A place like Pofadder. I don't know if you know where Pofadder is, but it's sort of, close to the Agrabis in Uppington.
Okay.
Now, if you blink while passing through, you won't see the place. That's how small it is.
Okay.
And every single person that lives there was there with our show. I think it was about 375 people.
Yeah.
And the response was immense. So from the bigger places like Sun City Super Bowl, where we performed for full packed, I think it was 4 or 5 shows in a row, where the people, the feeling that you get when 5,000 people go ballistic is amazing. Right through to the smallest little dorpies and places that you find, we get the same response. And I think it's because people have never seen anything like that. It's very exciting. It's very exotic what we do, and visually it's also amazing to watch. So we've been in tents. We've been in backyard places. We've been at house parties. I was invited to play at a strip show once, but my wife said no.
She said that will not be where you're going.
No, that's not where you're going to go.
Alrighty, so can we maybe get another bit of play from you guys?
Yeah, well, let's do CH2. Let's show you what the more Spanish flamenco pop style is about. Yes. So we'll quickly get our guitars ready. And what I think we're going to do is we're going to play one of the most iconic dance hits of the year 2000, 1999, and it's called Insomnia. But on 2 nylon guitars, again, the same as Marcin. No backing tracks, no loop stations. Everything that you hear is made live right now.
Welcome to 702 Unplugged.
I feel as though you could work up a sweat just doing that. Just the amount of energy. I don't think I've ever seen guitaring like that before in my life. It just shows you how much more I should be watching as a whole. So now, so just in terms of when it comes to the kind of music that you decide to do, are there any South African songs that when you've traveled that perhaps that you guys have put together as part of your set that have been has been well received?
Definitely, we do like things like Waka Waka. We do a lot of these South African type of pieces. Five Star is one of the ones that are very famous, in the Afrikaans industry. And then also we did a lovely album with this Soweto string quartet a couple of years back called Pap and Paella. So it's the African and the Spanish together. Yeah. And long story short is that we composed one of our own quelas, which is called a CH2 quella. So we've had an amazing response, in terms of the South Africa. We've done the Click song previously, Malaika, all those beautiful tracks,
Nice, yeah.
And we had a bit of a Spanish flair, and people really receive it well because obviously it's a South African song that people know, but now it's done with a different flavor, and that's always very well received.
So now I want to hear what it sounds like when CH2 and Marcin collaborate, just to get an idea of what Guitar Wizard sounds like. Are you guys ready to give us a bit of a...
I need
Definitely.
to retune my guitar then, because that's a surprise.
So this is not on stage normally where I tell a couple of jokes.
Okay.
But long story short is what happens is with Marcin, his style of play, he's got different tunings. So people can actually hear him tune now.
Yeah.
So tuning is also, I always make the joke and say tuning is also great if you don't have enough repertoire. You can steal time. But we do have plenty repertoire, so that's only a joke in this case.
Yeah.
But basically what we're going to do now is we're going to do Asturias.
Yeah.
It's actually composed for piano. It's a classical piece by Isaac Albanese, but it became more famous on the classical guitar. And then Marcin did a lovely version of this, which is fingerstyle in Asturias. Percussive, yeah. And then we add the CH2 flavor to it.
Okay.
Sure. Let's go.
Cool, let's go for it.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually think that I remember when Ed Sheeran was here for Global Citizen. Now I understand why he was switching guitars the whole time, because he couldn't tune. You learn something new. You learn something new every day. So here is, for the first time on 702 Guitar Wizards together, Marcin and CH2.
702 Unplugged. Don't miss a beat.
Guitar Wizards CH2 and Marcin collaborating together on 702 Unplugged. It looks like they, I mean, how much rehearsal time goes into just being able to play together?
Very little. Actually, the internet works wonders in this case, you know. Even the reason I'm here is because of the internet, right? But even further, when I knew that I was going to play together with CH2 for the big finale of the concerts, I knew that we had to do something big. So this arrangement of Asturias is quite difficult, but I sent them the sheet music that I had, you know. They send me their ideas that they want to do, you know, for the whole idea of Asturias. And we just worked it through the internet, you know. We didn't even meet. And then I came to...
We actually rehearsed the day before the first show.
Just
literally
the day before,
at the sound
I
check.
came to see them, and it's just
and
like...
I think we went through 2 or 3 times. Okay, that's nice. Thanks, guys. Okay, next episode. On stage the next day.
And it's wonderful because actually all the shows have been sold out so far, and to have that sort of pressure, you know, that we haven't rehearsed that much with like a full, you know, hall playing that sort of thing is a big electrocuting, you know, thing for me at least. So it was a blast, you know?
And what's amazing is that because we didn't rehearse so much, it's obviously a question of you very focused. There's so much energy on stage, but it's a question of if you're good musos, like someone like Marcin. We've been in the... See, I've got an excuse to be okay at what I do because I've got about I'm 40 years old. I've had like 20,000 to 30,000 hours. He's 18, so he's a master at what he does at his young age. But the point is, if you're a great musician, you can get together at the last moment to quickly do something. You know what I mean?
Love that. That's Guitar Wizards, CH2 and Marcin in studio. Unfortunately, we run out of time, but thank you so much for coming.
Well, if I may say just the last thing, today we're playing 5:30 Atterbury Theatre. It's the last show because we sold out at 8 p.m. So come 5:30, see us. It's a beautiful show, I think, at the Atterbury Theatre. Yeah.
2 hours left to book tickets for that 5:30 because the 8 o'clock show sold out in 24 hours.
Yeah, it's 24 hours is gone.
So we opened it a couple of days ago. So there's 2.5 hours left for people to come and watch at Atterbury Theatre 5:30.
Thank you so much.